So tonight on Crave, we've got something a little bit unusual. We've got a two for the price of one interview because there's something slightly unusual happening. Could be very, very short in the next couple of months in the South Island. It's a South Island only deal. We've got Mel Parsons and we've got one half of the Bitches box. We've got Emma Newborn. So, would one of you please tell us why do we have a singer and a comedian on the same interview?
Well, because we quite like hanging out in woolsheds together intermittently.
Okay.
Yeah. About 9 years ago, we decided that we were all going to jump in a truck. So I'm one half of a comedy duo called The Bitches Box, and the other half being with Amelia Dunbar. And we rang up our friend Mel and said, "Hey, do you want to jump in the truck with us and go around woolsheds and start doing shows?" Because I don't know, maybe we were sick of picking over the audiences in Auckland, so we thought we'd go and find a different audience.
Fair enough. So the tour's going to start in it's October, isn't it? You start, and you're hitting about 20 venues across the South Island. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Venues. Yes. 20 places, 20 bullsheds. The couple throw for good measure. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a departure from your usual venues, isn't it, Mel?
It is. Yeah. I mean, it's a complete departure. What we do is we go into. So we take a full production setup and take it into what is a working woolshed, so by day they're in there shearing sheep, and then we roll up in the afternoon with our truck and a couple of hundred chairs and set up for a glittering night of 2 shows. Yeah.
Great. So when we say Woolshed Tour, this isn't metaphorical. This isn't like figurative. This is literal woolsheds.
This is a literal Woolshed Tour. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we perform. Yeah. In a woolshed that it has, I don't know whether you're familiar with the buildings, but they have a what's called a raised board, which is where the shearers stand to actually shear the sheep. So that, luckily for us, that is actually quite a good natural stage.
Right.
That's our stage, and that's where we start from, and just put the whole production together each night.
No, fair enough. Yeah. So I guess an absence of woolsheds would explain why you're not playing Auckland this time around.
Yes, we are planning. We will come to the North Island though. But as what we do in the South Island, we tend to avoid the city centres. Yes, because not so many bullsheds.
No. So I mean, I'm looking at the format of the show you're putting on, and I've never seen a bill quite like it. Opening at 6 p.m. with a barbecue. It's a fascinating format.
Mm-hmm.
It's possibly it's the most Kiwi thing I've seen in years.
Yeah, it's quite an experience. So each shed that we go to, we will ask like a local organisation, like a school or a tennis club or whoever is kind of in the area and fundraising at the time to come over and they will host a fundraising barbecue and we run a bar as well. So there's like. So I think an important part of the event as well is the social aspect for these kind of rural communities.
Right.
Quite often, if they want to go and see entertainment, they will have to drive to a local town centre to see something. But we're quite interested in taking that experience to them. So a big part of it is that sort of barbecue beer beforehand. Yeah.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, it's a very buzzy. Yeah, the atmosphere. It's quite hard to describe the atmosphere, but it's a very buzzy sort of thing. People are excited. I think people are really excited that we have basically bothered to go and take the entertainment right out to them. So it's quite a they're quite true community events, and they're it's quite a special thing, I think, for a performer. It's really people are just really buzzing about it, and I think hence why we've just carried on for so many years, because it's rewarding and it's really fun, and on top of that, people seem to love the show. So yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a long-standing tradition, isn't it? I mean, if I'm not mistaken, you're following in the footsteps of the likes of Fred Dagg or the Top Twins. So that's good. That's good heritage to follow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I suppose those acts in particular have always appealed to, in particular the sort of heartland New Zealand, and which we share an audience with. That's our audience as rural and regional people. So, yeah.
Fair enough. Now, I mean, I've been looking at some of your videos, Mel, and I've seen that. I mean, you, for example, in the True Story video, it's got you playing some small venues, but this is going to be a really small venue. So I'm wondering, is this like tailor-made for COVID times? There's going to be socially distanced audiences.
Oh, sorry, in you go.
No, I was saying, well, we started planning this tour when we were quite happily rolling along at level 1.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And we're continuing to roll along, hoping that we will be again at level 1. But if we're not, I mean, we'll definitely have to kind of go back to the drawing board and see how we can accommodate everyone under those conditions.
Yeah, because if you're limited to 100, I mean, is that going to be coming up to sort of the capacity of these venues anyway?
Oh, most of them, the venues that we're in are sort of normally between 150 and 200. So yeah, it's probably like most other promoters in the country, really. We're just going to cross that bridge when we come to it. You know, we've got a contingency, and it's kind of impossible to plan. So
no, fair enough. I'm just wondering, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead, Emma.
Oh, yeah, no, I was going to say the sheds fit anywhere between 300 and 500 sheep. So we can easily fit 200 people. Yeah.
Fantastic way of measuring capacity.
Yeah.
Alternatively, that's no way to speak about your audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Which makes me wonder, if they're wearing masks, how will you know if they're laughing?
Eyes for sure.
The eyes will have it. Exactly.
It might just be a bit more muffled sound.
Well, that does make me wonder how your singing is going to shine through, Mel. I mean, you know, are you going to have a special microphone?
Again, that's another bridge crossing thing. I'll let you know how it goes, but I reckon we'll work something out. I think I should be socially distanced enough that that will pass.
Yeah, I mean, we are looking at a unique set of challenges here, aren't we?
We are, for sure, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about, I mean, the format of the show. I mean, we've got a musical act and we've got a comedic act. I mean, we're basically back to music hall here, aren't we, really?
Yeah, it is a bit. It feels like it. And it actually feels like a bit of a traveling roadshow variety concert. It's definitely kind of got that.
It's a review.
It is a little, yeah. Yeah, and we'll run a raffle, and it's kind of like it is a very full night out. Yeah, it's great fun.
I'd say if Jaffers were so unwelcome down south at the moment, I'd be looking to head down there myself to come and see a show.
I'm sure we'll get up a bit closer to you next year at some point. So,
well, I would hope so. So let's talk a bit more about what the show's going to look like. I mean, first of all, who's the headliner?
Well, it's a double.
It's a double bill.
Double bill. There you go. That's very diplomatic. I mean,
it's a double. We've been a double bill right from the beginning. So
yeah,
fair enough. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have your better half with us tonight, do we, Emma?
No, Amelia. She is. So I'm actually in Auckland myself. So I travel.
Oh, fair enough.
They all turn a blind eye.
Yeah. We don't worry. Nobody ever listens to these interviews anyway, so nobody's going to find out about it. You're safe. Don't worry. So Mel, how do you get to be involved in this? I know you're not promoting a new album because your last one was out in 2018. So what got you hooked into this?
Well, I guess we've been doing the Woolshed Tour together since 2012. So
okay.
Every couple of few years we work out a plan and get it all back together and on the road. So I'm actually working on a new album at the moment. So I've got a new show, but I'm not on the promotion trail of the brand new album just yet. But that'll be next year. That'll
come. You gonna be previewing any new songs?
What's that? Sorry.
Will you be previewing any new songs?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, which I'm really looking forward to because I think as a up until this whole COVID thing, I tour. That's what I do. You know, I'm a touring artist, and so I have songs out. I play them a lot, so it's I'm looking forward to playing some new stuff for sure.
Excellent. And I know Emma, you guys, you've got, is it the third installment? Have I got this right? Of your trilogy?
Yep. Yep, that's right. So we started with a show called The Bitches Box,
Okay.
which was centered around two bitches on heat, locked in a bitch box on a farm.
Okay, yeah.
So we play dogs. So that's kind of our thing, that we are called The Bitches Box.
Yeah.
Our second show was Sons of a Bitch, which was about two Jack Russell dogs, two country dogs who go to the city to get their balls chopped off, and they meet all the city characters.
So it's a tragedy.
It is, yeah, great tragedy. But, you know, with great tragedy comes great comedy. So
well, yes.
That was, yeah.
You don't find that sort of alienates about half of your audience?
I actually think it bridges the urban-rural divide.
That wasn't the half I was thinking of, to be honest.
And then the third show is, so this is the one we're writing at the moment. This is called Life's a Bitch.
Yeah.
And it is about two Swiss circus dogs who break down on a outside a New Zealand farm.
Okay.
And get involved in some of the capers and adventures that are happening on the farm on that particular day. Yeah. So that's the new one.
Yeah, I'm with Mel on this one.
When you describe it, they all just sound so far-fetched and absurd. But honestly, it's the funny. Like I've seen the Bitches Box shows well over 100 times, probably pushing 150 times, and
yeah.
I know the shows inside out as someone observing and sometimes ticking, but they just have me in hysterics every night. So I reckon it's a very hard thing to describe until you see it. It's yeah. Is that fair?
Okay, no.
very, very, very silly. Very silly.
Very silly. That's right. And we're playing dogs. So
sorry?
We're playing dogs. So you kind of like, you get to talk about things that I don't know, maybe normally you wouldn't get away with talking about.
Such as?
Losing your balls, for instance.
Yeah, okay, that's yeah. Yeah. I mean, it sounds, if you pardon the phrase, barking mad, but
yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I've been waiting for the moment to drop that one in for the last 15 minutes. Serious, I've been rehearsing that one. Yeah. It sounds like an awful lot of fun, and so Emma, like you say, you know, there's a lot of themes that a South Island rural audience will really relate to. So Mel, I'm going to ask you. I mean, your music is very American. I was listening earlier. I'm hearing hints of like Cowboy Junkies and bands like that in there.
Cool.
So how well does that go down as a juxtaposition against recently castrated hounds?
Well, I mean, I think, I guess it's hard for me to be completely objective, obviously, about my own music, but I think, I think people listen to all sorts of things, you know, and generally Kiwis, we consume a huge amount of American music. So I suppose if that's the sound that it sounds like to you, then I don't really know how to. It's hard to categorize, but I think in terms of fitting in with the show, it's quite a good balance, because it's, you know, like we basically do a set each, and
right.
I think just having a music side of things, and I also chat through my show, so it's it's kind of interactive, I suppose, in a way. It's not just me singing at people for 50 minutes. But yeah, I mean, I guess people's musical people here love Cowboy Junkies and Fleetwood Mac and people like that. So I think I so far I haven't had too much of a problem in terms of the style.
No, fair enough. I'm just wondering what scope there is for overlap, and say, Mel, could you possibly soundtrack the Bitches show? Would that work?
Well, I think once you see the show, you would probably work out that would be a tricky one, because they have some very a lot of quite huge orchestral kind of dramatic stuff, whereas I'm more of a singer-songwriter stylistically. So there's possibly a few little bits and pieces. Actually, I did play.
In our first
show. In the first show, I played one song, but
right.
it's the soundtrack to the Bitches Box is is diverse, and so
okay.
I don't know whether I've got to cover all those bases. Just
this new show has definitely got a bit of a Eurovision feel to it.
Oh,
Mel,
very,
I don't know
very
if you want to
zeitgeist.
incorporate any of that into your music, but
yeah.
exactly. So yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming you've seen the Eurovision film this year, then, yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I haven't. But Amelia has, and she said it's heaps like our show, so you should watch it. And I'm like, maybe I'm deliberately not watching it because I don't want what is his name? What's his name? Will Ferrell. I don't want
Ferrell, one of those.
Yeah, to lay claim to any of my jokes. So I'm gonna.
You do know that's not how watching works. It only goes one way. Yeah? The stars don't pick up your gags by osmosis. You know that, right?
I know.
Hey,
But I don't want anyone else to claim. I'm going to say that.
Right.
But because I don't want anyone to go, oh, you must have watched that film. I'd be like, no, I haven't actually.
Fair enough. I'm with you. I understand. So is this going to be a trilogy, or is there a possibility of a fourth installment?
Look, who knows? I mean, when we first started doing this, we actually never thought we were going to go past a 10-minute skit. So,
wow.
And here we are into our third full-length show, 9 years in. So I don't know. We are working towards the Bitches Box doing something on screen.
Oh,
so
right.
That is probably kind of more where we're kind of heading. But to be honest, I think we've all got quite a strong soft point for the Woolsheds. So look, in another 5 years, you never know, 4 or 5 years, that seems to be when we hit it up.
So just keep plugging away as it goes, yeah?
Yeah, well, it's so much fun. Like, we love doing it, and we love, all being on the road together, and the acts are so complimentary. So,
yeah.
but obviously we can't keep going around peddling the same show. So it's quite good motivation to get back to the writing and go, okay, what else? How many more dog jokes can we squeeze out?
Oh, I'm sure there's endless supply, I'm sure.
Endless,
Come on. Mel's just told us you're working on a new album, so.
Exactly.
I said, you just told us you're working on a new album, so there you go.
That's right. That's true.
So there's no excuse for you to get one going.
No, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about life on the road. You're going to be on tour for, I think, you're going to 20 different towns across the South Island. You're going to be on the road for what? Best part of a month, is that right?
Yeah, so we break it down into 4 weeks basically, and this time we've got a 2-week break in the middle. So we do 5 nights on, and then 2 days off, and then another 5 nights. And we break, and then the same again. So just so it's sort of manageable for everyone. But on the road, previously we've kind of done all sorts of iterations of it. We've travelled in 4-wheel drives with an old deer trailer, and we've travelled. More recently, we've travelled in a huge horse truck, so carrying all of our gear and sleeping 6 people in the front of it. And this time around, we're going to do some combination of that. So the logistics are still coming together, but it's very much the road. It's a very intense, as you can imagine, because obviously we perform the show, but there are 6 of us on the road, so 3 performers and 3 crew, and it's very much kind of all hands on deck, and we're all mucking in and setting up the show and loading in chairs and loading in the bar and doing everything every night. So it's we're lucky in that we have, we 3 are great friends, and we have a really amazing crew who, are all happy workers. So yeah, we have it's fun. It's full on, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Not quite the rock and roll lifestyle that it might be then, no?
No, well, it's funny. It's quite different I was thinking that before. And I think for me, that's one of the reasons that it really appeals, is that it's very different to how I would normally tour. Normally you're flying around, or or you've got the band, or you're just going into venues where everything's set up. You just turn up for sound check and then go away and have dinner, and someone else takes care of all the stuff. Whereas this one, we're literally, like, the girls run the door every night, and we all have our jobs that we do throughout the show, and we kind of normally end up falling into bed around midnight. And bed has been anything from the a woolshed floor to to the back of a horse truck and a sleeping bag. So it's very it's pretty rugged and it's pretty grassroots, but I think that's part of the appeal in a way.
I mean, but it sounds like you both get an enormous amount of satisfaction from doing this tour, though.
Oh yeah, huge. Yeah, it's so different. I mean, before I started touring, I had never even been to the South Island.
Wow.
And
Which we never let her live down, by the way.
Quite right,
She's
too.
still suffering for it.
and
Island before you have.
sorry, say that again, Steve.
So that means I will have been to the South Island before you had.
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
I know. And now, and it was so amazing, and it still is so amazing to and such a privilege to like visit these communities and really be welcomed in. Like you're really welcomed into parts of New Zealand that I never would have hoped to see, even if I had gone as a tourist. You know, like, and there's something quite special about when you take an offering like a show that speaks really closely to that community. And certainly Mel and her set talks a lot around the people and the community, and like we often travel with quite a strong well-being message. So we're taking with us the Rural Support Trust, who work a lot with the mental health of farmers. And there's something about when you take an offering like that into a community, the way you're received is so unique to any kind of touring that I've done as well with shows, where it's similar to Mel, you just go theatre to theatre to theatre, and you don't really actually get to engage with your audience.
Right.
But we do, like firsthand in so many ways, and quite often we'll be invited for coffee and tea or breakfast the next morning, and it just like it's very special, and very unique.
It does sound quite brilliant. Now, are you not concerned it's going to be a wee bit cold inside these wool sheds?
Oh yeah, it's freezing.
The time of year, that's why we tour. We always tour, and we never tour in winter, so we're always October at the earliest. But also we take we've got like big blower heaters that to warm up spaces, and we people know, like we note it everywhere, dress warmly.
Right.
Sheds can be a bit drafty, so people know that to bring a rug or whatever. But we definitely we definitely work on the hospitality side of things, and we travel with rugs and heaters and things as well for those cold nights.
Well, I'm just thinking of a great merch opportunity for you. Since it's the Woolshed store, you could be selling commemorative sweaters, couldn't you?
Kind of good.
Commemorative sweaters there.
Wool blankets.
Yeah, there you go. There's a whole bunch here for you. I'll be expecting my cut.
I like the sweater idea. I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah, you see.
I think you might be onto something. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're starting off Wednesday the 14th in the wonderfully named Windwhistle. Is that actually a real town?
It is. And this is actually where Amelia lives. That's her home farm.
Right. So that's Snowden Station, yeah?
It's on a neighbouring farm.
Neighbour's farm, yeah. And I was there last weekend, and I can tell you that the wind was whistling.
Oh, excellent.
It was,
yes.
Howling a gale. But it'll be lovely and warm and sunny by the 14th of October.
Of course it will. You keep telling yourself that, yeah? Keep believing that, and it will happen, right? Definitely. So are you playing anywhere new this time round, or are we going back to the same old places?
No, we have got some
new. I actually don't have the list in front of me, but there's a lot of favourite sheds that we go back to, and some places that we love that we can't go back to just for scheduling reasons. Some people will be smack bang in the middle of sharing, or
right,
or it didn't work out for whatever reason. But there are definitely a few new sheds. I think Manapoti and a few places
like Hawea, Glenorchy. Some new sheds on there.
Yeah, those are the last 3 dates on your tour, I believe. In fact.
Yes, that's right. Yes, and I think there's a few more scattered throughout as well from memory.
Excellent. And so, do you start to like have the same few people coming to each of these shows, because there can't be that many people in some of these towns? So, do you start to recognise your audience?
Yeah. That's the ironic thing, you know, I found, and I think Em and Amelia are the same in this way, that it's actually, ironically enough, it's actually a lot easier selling shows out in the woolsheds in the middle of nowhere than it is selling a show in central Auckland or Christchurch, you know, because
Yeah.
these places, nothing's been there for 20 years. You know, the last thing that was there was our show 4 years ago. So people are so excited that there's, you know, hopefully the show's good, but also I think people are really excited that something's coming to them. Whereas in Auckland or any of the cities, you know, on any given night, you've got 20 different options of things to go to. So people are they're kind of a bit more like, oh yeah, we could go to that. We'll just wait till the last minute and see. Whereas our shows, I think, are the opposite in that they tend to sell out early. They always sell out early, and I think people just show their enthusiasm right at the start, which is really cool.
No, I mean, it sounds like an absolutely fantastic show, and I'm really, really sorry that we don't have Woolsheds up here in Auckland, because otherwise I think I'd love to be there. So
Yeah.
before I let you go, what I need from you both is a firm commitment and promise that you are going to bring this show to the upper reaches of the North Island as soon as is humanly possible.
Definitely, yeah. Early next year we'll be in the North Island, and we'll try and get close-ish to Auckland.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll let you know the closest that we can get for you, and invite you along.
Yeah,
I should look forward to that. So Mel Parsons, Emma Newborn, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to Crave tonight, and I hope your Woolshed tour goes really, really well.
Super. Thank you.
Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.